This is the Boston Celtics Newsfeed on CLNS. Today is Thursday, June 22nd, 2017. Hey guys, welcome into the Newsfeed. Today is draft day. It's June 22nd, Thursday night. The draft is tonight. Coverage begins on ESPN tonight at 7 p.m. And Cory, Prescott, and I, we're going to set the stage for you guys. You know, right around noon. I think it's about noon Eastern time today. So we are eagerly awaiting for stuff to happen. How you doing, Cory?
I think I'm eagerly awaiting as well. It's just been a chaotic post-NBA Finals, pre-NBA Draft. I'm not even going on a limb when I say this, but it's been more exciting than the 2017 playoffs. I'm not sure about you. How you feel?
Pretty much. It's been like a nerve-wracking time. Not because I'm like worried about what they're going to do. It's just where am I going to be when they do it, and what are we going to be able to do for newsfeed stuff? I went for a run earlier today, and I was like, "Oh crap! Can I go for this run?" And find out midway, I'm 2-3 miles from home, and the Celtics, traded back again or something like that.
I want to know what Woj does. Like, what's his routine
exactly.
like? Does he ever take a break?
Yeah, well, I said in the newsfeed yesterday. I think he's working like 96 hours this week. I would assume.
Yeah,
he just sits at his phone or by his phone. He's got multiple lines going. I don't know. But anyway, today is draft day. So, like I said, ESPN 7 p.m. tonight at the Barclays Center. We're going to be sort of rolling these out throughout the day. Tyler Trudeau will join us later on with the typical Thursday news feed with what happens tonight. And if anything big happens, we'll be back to talk about it with you. But setting the stage, the Celtics have 4 picks tonight. The number 3 overall, which is the big one that they just traded away the number 1, got the number 3 in exchange from Philadelphia, so they'll pick 3rd. They will also pick 3 times in the second round. That's number 37, 53, and 56 overall. So 4 picks to come tonight. And we could start right off top of the bat. Is there a guy that throw out, best pick available, all these mocks? Is there a guy throughout the college season that you just kind of love and would like to see on the Celtics, Cory?
Well, I would say Fultz, but that's obviously not going to happen. And I would be lying to everyone if I said I watched a game of Fultz. He was never on TV. He played for a lousy team in Washington, but we kind of saw that last year in Ben Simmons.
Tournament, yeah.
My familiarity with the college game isn't as strong. It comes post the NBA season, but it kind of comes between Jason Tatum and Josh Jackson, and ironically, that seems to be where the Celtics are as well. Mm-hmm. They're very, very different players. I mean, Tatum, classic go-to scorer, has like a kind of a Paul Pierce game, with all due respect to Paul Pierce because he's one of my all-time favorites. But there's some concerns about his athleticism, whether he can get the shot off at the next level. And then with Jackson, the biggest concern with him is it's a little bit off the court. He's had several issues, but mostly just with his jump shot. According to the Ringers, Kevin O'Connor, he needs a complete overhaul in his jump shot. His elbow is too far tucked in. So if he does counter the Celtics, he's going to need a complete just retransformation on that jumper of his. What say you, Mike? Where did your
Yeah, we're both kind of similar in that we're kind of NBA guys, which people should obviously know given what we do for CLNS.
Exactly.
Mine's going to go. I saw this guy in person, and it's the Jonathan Isaacs kid from Florida State. I saw him play up at Syracuse, and kind of immediately was like, oh my god, like look at this guy. He's just that level of unique that you're not going to find with these guys. I mean, Jason Tatum, Josh Jackson. Jason Tatum, we should mention, Draft Express has him going 3rd to the Celtics. I saw Jonathan Isaacs he played against Syracuse up there, and actually they wound up losing the game. It was kind of an embarrassing loss for Florida State. The Orange really came back and beat them, and I don't want to say Tyler Lydon outplayed Isaacs, but Florida State was behind the 8 ball in the guard positions. We'll leave it at that. But I just like the uniqueness of him, and I find Tatum and Jackson and Jaylen Brown and Jay Cryan, these guys just getting a little bit repetitive with the whole NBA body thing that keeps becoming such a big deal with people. He's got an NBA body. That's what you want. You want these 6'9" athletes. And I've kind of bucking that a little bit with when I saw him, I thought Joel Embiid, that type of stuff. I want a little bit of uniqueness with a pick this early, in particular when we went in thinking it was going to be number 1 overall. That's the kind of player you want. But I'm not sure they'll reach that far. Tatum looks like the pick now, and he does, the better shooter. He's got a little bit longer of a wingspan. I like that. And just the fact that he came worked out for the Celtics, you have to figure that's the direction they're going, and you can't be unhappy with it. You want a guy who, his team, I guess, overall, like the people he surrounds himself with, the agents and whatnot, didn't want to come work out in Boston, or were unable to figure out a way to make it happen, I guess.
And that's really weird. I mean, his reasoning was that his agent pretty much advised him not to. He expected to be number one, or if he wasn't going to be number one, he didn't want to go work out for the Celtics. Very strange, considering he fits in well personality-wise. Like, with the Celtics, they have a lot of, like bulldogs, a lot of competitors on defense.
Sure.
Avery Bradley's, Jay Crowder's, Marcus Smart's. His mentality, like that would definitely fit. But it is pretty peculiar that he wouldn't even come and work out for the Celtics. Yeah,
you look at it, the kind of like polar opposite of what Jalen has been since he arrived in Boston, and now with him, he's insisting on playing summer league basketball this summer with the Celtics, and how he just sort of says and does all the right things. This is a little bit of a red flag going the other way from me with Josh Jackson, and also just the shooting thing. I am so sick of Danny drafting these guys who cannot shoot or take 6 years to develop a shot like Avery did. It's just, do we want another Marcus Smart situation here? And when he drafts guys who come in thinking they can shoot, they can't even get on the court. I just would like a high pick. This is why last year I was totally sold on draft Buddy Hield, draft Jamal Murray, one of those two guys. Get me a guy who can put the ball in the basket. I don't want to go through another year where we need Isaiah Thomas to be superhuman scoring the basketball. I want another guy who can score.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you're drafting that high, you really just want to pick the best guy available. Yeah. Regardless of positional need, or if they're a great shooter, because there's always room to develop. I mean, we saw that with a number of guys. Like Kawhi Leonard's the best example. Yeah.
I get that with normally if you're drafting this high. I just think the Celtics are a unique case where this is the third best, fourth best team, however you want to look at it, in the league, drafting this high. I don't think you just, you're a bottoming out team who wants to build as many good players as you can. I feel like the Celtics can afford to be a little bit more choosy, and maybe that's what Danny thought as well with moving back. I don't need to take the number one ranked prospect, highest ceiling. I don't really care about that right now. I have a contender. I want to add to that contender, both now and obviously in the future with, the other pick that he got back, whether it's next year or 2 years from now. I think that's part of where they should go. Identify a need on a 50, how many games did they win? 53, I think?
53,
Identify a need and get yourself to a 60-win team. Get yourself to a game 6 or 7 against Cleveland and see what happens.
And I've heard this. I've heard, the Warriors' success and how much they dominated has kind of thrown everyone to a loop. Like, what do they want to do? Do they want to wait 5 years until the Warriors kind of peter out or something happens, or do you kind of go for it all right now? And I think Danny's I guess he's having his cake and he's eating it too. He's trying to prepare as much now, go after big time free agents, gain as much assets as possible, while also keeping his assets. I mean, Danny loves assets, keeping those for the future. So he's kind of stuck in a great place to be as far as NBA draft and NBA contending position. But he has sort of a big decision to make tonight, and then moving forward with free agency.
Yeah, and they do not serve cake at Chipotle, as far as I know.
No, maybe like a Mexican cake. I'm not sure. I don't know. I wouldn't
flan or something like that? Yeah, I don't know. Tonight you're in the Boston area. Cory, you in the Boston area tonight?
I am in the Boston area tonight, and hopefully for the foreseeable future.
There you go. Well, Cory's in the Boston area tonight, so if you guys are out there with him, head over to the Greatest Bar tonight, 262 Friend Street in Boston. There's going to be a live draft show party. The guys from the Causeway Street podcast are partnering with CLNS Media for a live draft show. This party starts at 5:30 tonight. Those in attendance have a shot to win a grand prize of an Isaiah Thomas autographed basketball. Titletown apparel will be on hand again with a ton of other just great prizes. So get out there to the Greatest Bar, 262 Friend Street in Boston tonight if you're around. Other than that, we have the 37, 53, and 56 picks. Real quick, Draft Express has Jonah Bolden going to the Celtics at 37. He's played at UCLA for 2 years, did not play with Lonzo Ball last year. He had opted to turn pro after last year, but opted to turn pro after the draft and wound up playing in Serbia, I believe. But he's from Australia, and actually, you mentioned the Ringer earlier. Jonathan Tjarks wrote that he's sort of the lottery talent that's going to go in the second round, so that's an interesting feed there. At 53, they have Davon Reed of Miami, and at 56, Damian Dotson of Houston. Both of those guys shooting guards, shot over 40% from three-point land, so you see where they're sort of identifying a need there for the Celtics. And I like the Damian Dotson guy. He has a unnecessary Y in his name, and should they go Jason Tatum, should they keep Jaylen Brown, that'll be three guys with unnecessary Ys in their name, which as a writer, I am crazy about.
Yeah, we'll get used to it though. There's a few names on here that'll be tough, like Frank Nikita and SMU's player who I actually like the Celtics to take in the second round, Semi Ojeleye from the SMU wing. But I've also heard a lot of execs are finding it hard or trying pretty hard to move into the second round, just with the roster flexibility with the draft and stash and the two-way contracts that are coming this year with the route to the G League, Gatorade League,
yes,
this upcoming season. So there's a lot of talent to be had in the second round. So the Celtics are actually fortunate to have a number of picks in that area.
Yeah, no, I mean, they'll have potentially two guys coming over from the draft and stashes from last year, though. I think both those guys were first-rounders, right?
Yeah, Yabusele and Zizic. I guess Zizic is a guarantee. Yabusele, I think, is still up in the air. I know he had foot surgery this summer. He's not going to play
Summer League yet.
He's not going to play Summer League. That's a big setback for him, but he still could be a training camp guy. And then, I guess it all depends on how they do in free agency this summer.
Cool. All right, well, that's Cory Prescott. I'm Mike Walsh. This is the Celtics Newsfeed. Again, coverage starts tonight on ESPN at 7 p.m. from the Barclays Center. Keep it tuned right here to the Celtics Newsfeed, though. We will be pumping out these updates really all day long, and we'll see what happens. If you're in Boston, check out the Greatest Bar tonight. Otherwise, we'll talk to you guys later.
Stay tuned, guys. I'll see you.
We're all about fresh content here on the Celtics Newsfeed, and so are our new friends over at HelloFresh. HelloFresh is the meal kit delivery service that makes cooking more fun, so you can focus on the whole experience, not just the final plate. Each week, HelloFresh creates delicious new recipes with step-by-step instructions, and they just started adding some breakfast options, some spring favorites. It's going to be summer soon. HelloFresh delivers food to your doorstep in a recyclable, insulated box for free, and you, our loyal listeners of CLNS Media, can get this very special offer. Because of your support to the Celtics Newsfeed, you can use the promo code BEAT30 for $30 off your first week at HelloFresh. Continue supporting fresh content and fresh food by trying HelloFresh for free. Simply visit HelloFresh.com and enter the promo code BEAT30.